The Uganda Media Women's Association, UMWA, has presented a report highlighting the alarming state of women representation in the media. Based on a 5-year gender media monitoring study, the results show women are significantly underrepresented.
What was found out is that women are largely not reported about in media spaces. That is TV, online, newspaper, and radio. Altogether, after this monitoring that has happened over 5 years, only 23% of women voices were captured.
This year's report on the gender representation gender representation in the media, we called it half the population, quarter the media space, meaning that despite the fact that women constitute 50% of Uganda's population, only 25 media space is accorded to women.
I'll give you an example of Shamim Malende. When she had domestic issues, and she's a political candidate, the journalists focused more on her domestic issues and forgot to raise her political agenda for Kampala. And then during the time of the speaker having an election with Kadaga at Kololo, the Monitor newspaper ran a headline, "Two queens cry before one king." That was the headline. Was it representative of the issues of women? Did it derail the issues as they were happening? These are the questions that UMWA is concerned with.
The report attributes this to various challenges, including unfair payments, lack of confidence among female journalists, gender discrimination, and cultural barriers.
When it comes to the general problem, it is us, we journalists, female journalists, we lack confidence. And that lacking confidence, it's all about us not doing research, not wanting to read. So we make issues or matters that don't even impact on our society.
Journalists have a lot of opportunities, given by the very nature of their profession, of our profession. I shouldn't exclude myself. But we have a challenge that many times we are held back by our own weaknesses.
In the media space, because our editors back in the newsroom, they think that most of the work, we are not supposed to do it. Maybe they think that we are weak and they assign it to the male journalists. So you find out that us as a female journalist, we are left out. Say, for example, like operating cameras and doing the camera work, and maybe going to the field. Say if you're living maybe Kampala and you're assigned to go to Gulu, they will say that now this female journalist maybe is married and you have to take on other assignments as a female, as a married wife. So they leave you out and they assign that work to the male journalist.
I think it all goes back to our culture and how women are raised, how we are brought up in society. If you look at the home setting and how young girls are portrayed as inferior, men as superior, don't speak back to your elders and don't share your opinions. Now, how do you expect such a girl to grow up and then become a public speaker or a source in some sort? They grow up with fear. They grow up with "I'm not wanted." But if we change our culture to have like equality even in our homes, like a girl and a boy are equal, a girl and a boy can speak up, a girl and a boy can share when they find things not working out well, not just women or girls do not talk, do not do this. So it is a whole culture shift we need to change.
UMWA presented the proposal to some of the underlying issues that female journalists go through.
So going forward, we have come up with different strategies to try and ensure that we address this issue.
And what we need to do is stand out, position ourselves, and aim to get these positions. For instance, very few female journalists head or hold decision-making positions in media houses in Uganda. Very good journalists out there, very good, investigative female journalists. But some of them are not offering themselves. they're not up to the task, give yourself up. I mean, show yourself. Say, here I am, I can do this. Trust me. If you're good at what you do, someone is going to notice. Someone is going to pull you from the crowd and place you where you belong. Opinions. So government should reinforce their position on the CEDAW and should reinforce their position on Beijing platform to ensure that there is a more tolerant space for more women voices to get up into the media spaces.
Address these issues, UMWA recommends establishing a mental health facility hub for female journalists affected by the harsh reporting environment.
Traumatized, some are going to be stressed, some are going to be depressed because of whatever that is happening to them. So as an association, we are thinking, why not come up with a mental health hub where female journalists, where women in news can run to, including those that are probably our sources. They could be everyday women, but these are the women that we host on the various media house platforms. These are the women that we source stories from. They're our subjects. We want a space where someone can come and offload the burden that they are feeling, the trauma that they are feeling. Because when one is left unattended to, that's why we find women who no longer want to speak to the media, because they know when I go to speak in the media, at times what the public tells.
The report also presented other key findings. In the last 15 years, it indicated that women were represented at 31%, while men at 69% in 2015, 24% versus 76% in 2020, and 23% versus 77% in 2025. The report also indicated that women dominate in caregiving, domestic topics, health, education, disasters, gender-based violence, whereas men dominate politics, economy, crime, and sports. Globally, women in legacy media represented 26% and 29% in digital media. These numbers reflect stagnation in progress towards gender equality. It is the reason UMWA recommends media houses to adopt gender-sensitive editorial policies, promote women into decision-making roles, provide training on gender-responsive reporting, monitor newsroom gender ratios and representation, newsrooms to have a gender checklist. Naguja Serena for NSTV.